So my name's Nicola. I'd like to say I'm a centre manager, but Ryan's sat over there and he does all the hard work. He's a centre manager for Starting Point, and we're based in Stockport, so we're one of Greater Manchester. For those of you down south, we're 7 miles out of Manchester. We're one of the 10 Greater Manchester boroughs. We're the richest Greater Manchester borough. However, we're the most polarised, apparently, town in the country as it stands at the moment, with 16 years life expectancy difference between postcodes, which brings certain challenges with it. Have I got a problem with my microphone? Is it coming in and out? I can feel it coming in and out. Twitter handle. So, just a little bit about Starting Point. We're a social enterprise. We've got 3 trading arms, 2 of which are coffee shops, so they're quite straightforward to understand, that we sell coffee and then we spend that money on providing informal adult learning throughout the borough. Primarily that's financial inclusion, digital inclusion, skills on community organising and volunteering, and also health and well-being, which includes growing and cooking skills. The fact that we are a social enterprise is really important to all of us. We're lucky enough to get FDI funding from Good Things Foundation, but actually my role, not as a centre manager, Ryan, but my role is to make sure that people within our borough, we're bringing in external money into Stockport, and we want people to match that. I've been challenged in the past on whether I would accept that funding if people within Stockport didn't match it, and I think that what we're doing benefits a number of organisations, in particular housing providers in the town. So I'd question whether we would or not. I think it's really important that people actually support us locally as well. I've got 2 clickers. There's a digital issue. So that's why I look like I'm playing the piano. Neither of them seems to be working. Oh, now nobody's listening to me. Anyway, this is why I needed this slide, because it's the only one with text in it, and I couldn't remember what somebody else had said. So I was just saying that we work with housing providers primarily because they give us access to the majority of the people in our town that aren't online. The biggest housing provider being Stockport Homes, and they actually fully understand support both with people and money and commitment, how important it is to get the most marginalised in our town online. So their social inclusion manager, interestingly, she is responsible for digital, because they see that digital doesn't just stand on its own and it is to do with social inclusion. It's called Tanya King, and I told her I was talking here, and I said, go on, what do you want to say? Because I knew she would want to say something. And this is what she said, and actually it rings really true to me. So normally I wouldn't have a PowerPoint slide with as much text, but actually it does ring true. So let's see what she says. So we know that many of our customers attend digital sessions because they derive social benefits. Digital is an introduction to a wide range of other topics, whether finding out about the local community, linking with support groups, or applying for benefits. The social contact provided through the session plays a vital role to customers' lives, reducing the likelihood of social isolation, and with it, the risk of mortality, coronary disease, suicide, cognitive decline, such as dementia. It's a real platform for them to engage with others, improve self-confidence, and retain independence, be part of their local community. She didn't say that second paragraph lightly. She said that through experience that we've been telling her has happened in sessions. 2 clickers. Nobody else has these problems, do they? So as part of, we've missed my digital divide. There's a picture of a bridge. That's it. So I found the actual digital divide, people. So this is the Mersey, and it's not near Stockport, actually. This is near where I live. And that bit there is Runcorn, and that bit there is Liverpool. And previously, other than swimming, the only way you could get over there was by using the Runcorn Bridge, which closed earlier this year. So now we have a fancy new toll road, and that's the bridge, and you have to pay £2 to get over it and £2 to get back, which is a bit of an issue for me anyway, but nothing to do with this. What is important on that, though, is that when you go over the bridge, instead of having your £2 that you've got to throw into a bucket, you have a sign that says, pay by midnight tomorrow night online at merseyflow.com. So because I never switch off, and to give you a bit of an indication of how exciting life is in my house, I sat ranting about this for ages. And I was told after about 5 minutes that I was wrong, which doesn't happen very often. And apparently, there are places that you can pay in person, and there's a pay by phone. So still seething on the fact that I was wrong. About 5 minutes after that, I said to my other half, how did he know that? Well, he'd Googled it. Because there's no sign anywhere to say you can pay on phone, and there's no sign to say that which shops you can go in to pay. So actually, we're not only excluded now, we're trapped. You know, this genuinely is the digital divide, and I'm being flippant, but it's a real problem. Because for all the centres, I mean, I'm kind of speaking as a centre that's not unique. I know we all do this stuff. But what I'm also thinking is, people need a bank account. Financial literacy has been mentioned loads of times. But actually, for those of our learners that do have bank accounts, most of them have cash card accounts, and they don't have debit accounts. So, and they definitely don't have a credit card. So the bits where we tell them that actually it'd be safer if they transact using a credit card, that's way away from where we are right now. So actually, it is a slightly flippant comment and a bit of a bugbear on the fact it now costs me £4 to go to Liverpool, but also a real impact on things that are happening day to day. So the piece of work that I was talking to you about with Stop Put Home, she says, frantically clicking again. No, it's all gone wrong, hasn't it? So there's a slide with 2 pictures and some... Oh, you've got my old version, that's what the problem is. Keep going back, 2 pictures, no. See, look at this that you're getting now. That's it. So, so the work we were doing with Stop Put Homes, we evaluated it recently. So here's the data that Matthew was talking about. And it tells us that 92% of our learners have made friends and connections through attending our sessions, which is great. But it also tells us that 37% of our learners feel safer in their community. Now, I worry about this a little bit because actually, I told you earlier that Stockport is quite an affluent town, and there are a significant amount of people that already felt safe in their community. So what does that data tell us? And also, it doesn't actually talk about the people whose main priority isn't to make friends and to make connections as well. Maybe that's what those 8% are. So the stats are useful, but hopefully we'll find a slide with a picture of Violet on it. So recently, Starting Point, and Ryan and Julie sat over there will back me up on this, have shied away from case studies. We've shied away from telling stories because we worry about that word stories, because actually these are real facts about real people, and mainly people that have been disempowered a lot systematically, and then all of a sudden I'm going to stand on a stage and tell their story. So we struggle with that a little bit. I also personally struggle with the fact that I'm stood talking to centres who have got a Violet and you know, I have repeatedly heard stories where I know that we've got these centres as well, and I'm not standing here thinking I'm special at all. I think the network and what we do is really special, but as I said before, I don't think Starting Point particularly unique. However, I spoke to Violet and she's quite willing for us to tell her story as to why we can't just focus on digital on its own, because Violet's been coming to our centre for 27 months and she's not online yet. So I don't know what Julie does. No, in all seriousness. Importantly as well, Violet also won a tablet for Get Online Week 2015, and it took her 18 months to have the confidence to take it home. and Julie had to take it to the session and bring it back every week. So the story she has allowed me to tell you is that she was a victim of a violent attack in the street, and as a result of that, now has short-term memory loss and took a lot of time off work and subsequently lost her job. Very quickly, she became quite isolated and lost a lot of confidence. She started coming to the sessions because we had a kettle and a toaster, is what she said. And obviously what that means is she wanted something to drink and something to eat. And actually, more importantly, we had heating. She's now working with a specialist hoarding team who are helping her sort out where she lives. And she is possibly the most passionate learner that we've got, to use universal job match. She desperately wants a job, but doesn't understand that possibly it's not appropriate to be applying for jobs that she's not got experience in. So there's loads and loads of barriers that I know we all face day in, day out. So that bit about the match funding, that's why that's so important, because this is 27 months in and we're still not online. The other thing that's quite important is she is now part of a local food cooperative that offers discounted food, but that operates on the same day as her job centre appointment. So every fortnight, Violet chooses whether to be sanctioned or whether to get food. So these are all issues that we know about because people like Julie and people like you guys have regular contact with people like Violet. So we can't do it all ourselves. Hopefully there's a slide of a prescription that's on a wonky angle because I couldn't fit it on a landscape slide. So we can't do it all ourselves, and this is all about signposting, but we've gone one step ahead. Oh, and you can't see my prescription because it's great. There we go. So our local GP practice, Alvanley Family Practice, have a series of health champions. Their aim over the last couple of years was to build a community around their practice, and they now have this prescription which looks like a normal prescription other than the fact it's blue. And a lot of our services and a lot of the stuff we do is on there, and the GPs actually prescribe that. That's been created by volunteers that support Alvanley GP practice. It's actually not got anything to do with us, and possibly removed from Alvanley GPs themselves, even though they prescribe it. But these are the things that benefit Violet and all the other learners, and as you can see, IT skills are on there. So I think the last thing I wanted to say, and we don't need that slide, don't worry, there's just a picture of us all that says about dancing, is that in a time of austerity, when you've got funding externally, I know Matthew was talking about data and saying that we've got this great opportunity as a centre to collect our learners' data. I think it's really important for us as centres and really important for our learners to understand that value as well and negotiate hard. That in a time of austerity, there are loads of people that are inviting us to parties because we've got something to give. But my role right now, and what I'm quite focused on, is I'm not attending parties anymore where people don't let us dance. I'm going to leave on that, but hopefully you're taking away from it that I don't want to dance. That actually we're the experts. We know what this is about, and I think that it's our role now to start influencing people locally to invest more in what we do. Thank you very much.